Hey everyone, George here. Today I just wanted to sit down real quick and have a conversation with you about the 1985 zombie comedy masterpiece that is Return of the Living Dead. This film was co-written and directed by Dan O'Bannon. He co-wrote Dark Star, Alien, Dead and Buried, Heavy Metal, Life Force, and Total Recall. This film stars Tom Matthews, James Karen, Clu Gulager, Don Calfa, Linnea Quigley, Brian Peck, Beverly Randolph, Miguel A. Nunez Jr., Jules Shepard, John Philbin, Mark Venturini, Jonathan Terry, and Kathleen Cordell. With that out of the way, let me tell you what this film is about. When two bubbling employees at a medical supply warehouse accidentally unleash a top-secret military gas, it doesn't just make the dead come back to life, it makes them hungry for brains. Chaos erupts as the nearby cemetery comes to life, and a group of teens, warehouse workers, and the owner of a funeral home are forced to battle an unstoppable horde of smart, fast, and quirky zombies. Real quick, before we go any further, I'm going to spoil this movie. I'm not going to spoil everything in this film, but enough that I should be giving you this warning. So if you have not seen this movie, I say stop this video, go watch the movie, then come back, sit down, and hear what I have to say, because this movie really is a special film. Now, when you watch this film, something that immediately stands out is the tone of the film itself. It walks this really fine line between horror and satire. You find yourself laughing at how absurd some of the characters and the dialogue is, but all the while, the threat that they face is very serious. There's this real sense of doom that lingers in the background throughout this entire movie, from the beginning all the way to the end credits. The zombies in this movie are just built different compared to, other zombies in other zombie movies. They're fast, self-aware, and able to talk. And most importantly, they really can't be killed. No, really, they're virtually indestructible in this film. The only real way to defeat them is by burning them, and honestly, that just makes matters worse. Because when you burn them, the ashes from the zombies goes up into the clouds, and when it comes back down in the form of rain, and this causes more of the dead to come back to life. And this was a surprisingly bleak decision for a fun and campy film that's titled Return of the Living Dead. If you look at Romero's Living Dead films, the zombies were a real threat, and they were potentially extinction creators. But the zombies in this film are much more dangerous. They're much more than just a potential threat to cause an extinction of the human race. These zombies are planet destroyers, because it doesn't only infect humans, everything gets infected. Dogs and all sorts of animals come back to life as well, even insects. There's a shot in the movie where there's all these pinned butterflies to a board. Those butterflies come back to life, meaning that literally everything can come back to life and could potentially infect you. So this really is a planet-destroying event in this movie. Aside from the dangerous zombies in this film, the cast that you watch throughout this entire film is absolutely delightful. You've got James Karen and Tom Matthews as Frank and Freddy, and they're honestly, easily the highlight of this film. They start off as comic reliefs, but their arc does take a surprisingly dark turn. Watching this movie, you get to see them slowly realize that not only are they dying, but they're also turning into zombies. And this actually adds an unexpected emotional weight to this movie. Linnea Quigley's character Trash is often remembered for her cemetery strip scene, which is intentionally ridiculous. But it's once she actually turns undead where her performance becomes genuinely eerie. Again, this film gives you this mix of camp and discomfort, and it works way better than it actually should. The practical effects are great, especially that half corpse that they capture and strap to the table and they ask her questions. That half corpse goes on to explain that it actually hurts to be dead, and the reason why they eat brains is because it makes them feel better. It's a moment that shifts the movie from being a joke to being something a little more existential. These zombies are smart and self-aware, which makes you start asking certain questions like, how much of them are still in there? Are they still themselves, but are they just trapped in a zombie's body? And if that's the case, why when one of the characters turns into a zombie, they try to hurt the person they love? Like, what was really going on up there? Was that character really themselves? And if so, how much of themselves still remained in there? Okay, let's talk about this ending, because the ending is quite bleak. There's no last-minute rescue. There's no final shot of the survivors walking off into the sunset. The movie commits to its logic all the way through, which I really respect. It's not trying to make you feel good. It's basically just giving you the matter-of-fact story and the matter-of-fact resolution. And honestly, that's the only capable and logical ending to this mess that happens in this movie. Honestly, this film is way smarter and way more thought out than a film that's titled Return to the Living Dead would have you believe. Yes, the dialogue is silly and the characters are ridiculous, but honestly, that was purposely done. This film really does present you with a fully fleshed out concept and world. Also, the soundtrack of this movie is incredible. It really includes some great songs and adds to the fun time that this movie is. Well, that is the movie Return of the Living Dead. Overall, the film knows exactly what it wants to be. It's absurd, funny, existential, and even nihilistic. It rewrites the zombie rulebook without turning itself into a full-blown parody of the genre. And if you have not seen the movie before, I say, go right now, watch the movie. And if you've already seen it, go. What are you doing? Go watch it again, because the movie really is something special. Bye.